Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from, and welcome to another Monday Play Weird stream. My name is Ben. I go by the moniker Ashenhold Art, and I will be your host for the next couple of hours as we do a little bit of painting. So we got some more Malifaux on the desk today, carrying on with Asami Tanaka in her resplendent Malifaux Burns form, alternate title that will be available at your friendly local gaming store this month. So if you've not been tuning in, we've been doing a little bit of a preview of some of the models coming out for the Malifaux Burns expansion. And I've been painting Realm Beyond. The other Play Weird streamers, they've been working on some of the other boxes. But so this is Lady Yumi here. She's just about done. Just a couple of highlights here and there. Probably some burnt grass on the bottom here. She is the new enforcer that comes in that box along with the two masters. The two masters being Asami Tanaka and the Dreamer. And we'll get him painted up at some point. Just some nice stripy pajamas for him. So I think we will just carry on with Asami Tanaka. So I started sketching in a little bit of freehand along the bottom of her robes there, as you can see. I think what we need to do is, I think I want to sort the skin out before we do much else. Just make sure that that's all nice and neat, looking how we want it to before we progress. And then probably what we'll do is we'll tidy up the rest of the model just so the colours that we use in the rest of the freehand are all lining up as they should. So yeah, I think without further ado, let's dive in. Let's start sorting that skin out. If I can sort all my windows and stuff out before I get started. If you've got any questions at all, fire them into the chat. If I can't answer them, then the fabulous Wyrd usually can. And if either of us can't answer them, then we can probably direct you to someone who can. So all we ask is we keep it either hobby or weird games related. Yeah, happy to help you out if we can. So I think what we want to do, first of all, I think we need to get a bit of a shade onto that skin. So I'm going to use a little bit of Indian Shadow, and we're just pretty much going to very carefully glaze this in. Some people maybe call this like a soft shade. So, and what we're looking for is places where shadow falls on the model, and we're just going to accentuate that. So a little bit too drastic there, so I'm just a damp brush, just tidy it up a little bit. I think we can go a little bit denser in the crook of the arm there. That. There's a little shadow there as well. Let's soften that up. So just sneaking up on those color transitions. Like so. This means if we need to pull back a little, it's easier to do so. Or if we want to increase the density of any of those shadows, then we can just build on what we've already put down there. But we don't want to make anything too drastic for an initial couple of passes, and you end up giving yourself a bit more work than you potentially need to that way. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. That's a bit better. Maybe a bit more. Oh, that is the opposite of what I wanted. There we go. So what we're going to see just at the bottom of the arm there, started to shade a little. Indian Shadow is excellent for what we're doing here, because it's quite versatile. Because if we want to, we can use Indian shadow to create quite dense shadows, but we can also use it to be quite subtle if we want to. Obviously there's quite a bit of shadow in here, so I'm not being super neat with this at the moment, because I can always go back and tidy things up a little afterwards if I need to. Not worrying too much about going over anything else just now. Just gonna sharpen up our features here. I'm gonna take that bit out there, because I put a bit of shadow in there in this sort of frown line, but the problem I have is it's making her face look a little bit craggier than I wanted it to, so I'm just gonna take that away, because we want her to look quite, she looks quite young and elegant in the artwork. That's what we're going for. It's the kind of theme of these two models, certainly, where you've got the sort of elegant feminine half with the more monstrous half. I'm leaning into that a little bit, because you get this pretty little face here, and then you've got all this tentacle business at the back, so a little bit of contrast there, because I talk about that a lot, but certainly I talk about it a lot, but contrast a lot more than just color. And light and dark. You can have contrast of concepts as well, contrast of textures. Let's make her cheeks a little flushed down. Yeah, right up there. She's in the blush of youth. There we go. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera. Not too great. It's the camera tends to overexpose skin tones a little, but here in the hand, it's making quite a big difference to her appearance. My work's actually calmed down a little bit this week, so I'm hoping to get lots of nice Malifaux pictures up on the socials for you guys. Finally get some pictures of Lady Yumi up, and I'm also quite close to finishing Charles Hoffman, I think. I'll get some pictures of him up. It will be the original Charles Hoffman, not the inventor one though. I believe Jess of Haunted Miniatures is currently working on the newer Charles Hoffman, if you're interested in seeing that. And be sure to check him out. I'm doing a bit of work on some terrain more recently. Was Jess. I never caught all of his stream though, because he's past my bedtime, unfortunately. Go. There's just a little bit here I want to try and sort out. Just a little messy here. Just glaze that out. Up there. Okay. Or you do decide to put lipstick on a miniature, which I think we might do with this lady. I mean, granted, she is wearing sort of like geisha makeup, but she's just got that one there. So even in her artwork, if she did have like lipstick coming right up here, I would still only do that bottom one. I would still highlight the top lip, but I mean, a lot of it's just got to do with proportions, right? Because I mean, if you look at like most people, your bottom lip generally is quite a bit bigger than your top lip, yeah. So on something of that scale, if you do try to get that detail in, it just doesn't look right. Like similarly, a lot of the time when people try to paint eyebrows on a model, it can end up just not looking right. And it's like don't take my word for it. I mean, it's like try it yourself, because it is quite an interesting exercise to see it. And I mean, you might like it. I don't know. You might like the way it looks, but generally speaking, I've found that when you paint an eyebrow on something that small, because it's like, I mean, if like you look at my eyebrows there, like eyebrow hair is actually very fine, and really, I mean, generally speaking, you get some people, but it's eyebrow hair is very fine, and it's very hard to represent how fine that hair looks on something of that size. So when you do paint it in, it ends up coming in quite stark, and it looks kind of clownish almost, actually, like you've drawn in these big like cartoon eyebrows. But it might be like you have a specific reason that you want to get something like that in there, but yeah, I generally speaking, it doesn't look right on something of that scale anyway. If you're talking about painting larger scale stuff, because I believe in the Play Wyrd will be able to, I think, give a little bit more information, because there were some larger scale models from the world of Malifaux on show at Gen Con, were there not? Which is quite exciting. You could definitely paint some eyebrows on them. I'm just painting I guess you would just call these lapels, right? Paint them back in. It's a great and very simple little bit of advice that I got, and that's if you're not sure how something's looking, how your colors, proportions and things are, just go back in and neaten your work up a bit. You'll be amazed at the difference it can make. Bizarre. Someone phoning me midstream. How dare they? So for the most part, we're following the box art on this lovely lady. Used a little bit of artistic license here and there, because that's part of the fun of painting miniatures, right? Our collar's quite hard to get to, so I think what I'm going to do, which I don't normally do, I'm just going to dab that in there. And then what I'll do is I'll neaten it up later on. That's future Ben's problem. Oh, made a wee bit of a mess there. Just broke one of my cardinal rules, and that is don't touch paint while it's still drying. And then I ended up with a bunch of green on the chest. So don't do as I say, do as I do. No, don't do as I do as I say. I'm full of terrible advice today, apparently. Do you know what? Just don't listen to me. There's some good advice. Okay. Yep. Okay. So I'm using Scale 75 Golden Skin. Because it's pretty good for what we're you brought Chrysalis Mystery to us listening to you. The chrysalis of misery is important. So I'm just going to use just a little bit of the golden skin first, just to neaten up here and there. And I'm just bringing that consistency right down, because I don't want this to be too opaque. Don't want it to be covering up that nuance and colour I've just put in. So, but I'm just picking out those raised areas. And a bit of highlight there. And then down at the elbow, catch a bit more light. Forehead usually catches a lot of light. So a great way to learn to highlight a miniature is just to take the model that you're painting and just study the way that light behaves on it. So some people, to that end, what they'll often do is they'll actually take a few reference shots of the miniature under a lamp. But if you've got a good eye, you might not even need to do that. So unless you're actually doing, like, something fancy with OSL, object source lighting, if you don't know what that acronym means. So unless you're doing something like that, honestly, shading and highlighting a miniature can often be just as simple as accentuating where light and shadows naturally falling on your model. And that's it. Some people will tell you that you need to study, light, how light behaves, things like that. And, I don't doubt maybe that does help some people, but you don't need to be a physicist to know how to put paint on a model. I mean, no disrespect to people that are quite big on, applying a little bit of science, etc., to their craft, but you really don't need to be as in depth as that. And I mean that, like, you sometimes be surprised that the simplicity of a lot of painters' approach, like even like the real high level guys. Some of them are right into studying placement of light and taking loads of reference photographs and all that, but I can tell you for a fact that they don't all do that. So hopefully that should encourage some of you guys. Okay, just gonna hit over the hairdryer. I want to make her face look nice and round. It's going to help make her look quite youthful. Oh. To make her face look nice and round and feminine, we want to make the shadows not quite as stark as we maybe would with a male face. You can hopefully see quite a big difference. Because basically, always exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, like male faces are squarer, especially around here. So it does mean that you can be a bit more stark with some of the shadow, especially if you're wanting to do, like I did with Hoffman there, if you're wanting to have a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow as well. Make him look like he's having a hard day. Or he's maybe just like me and just finds growing a beard a little bit easier. One less thing to have to do in the morning, right? I'm sure that's why Doug grew one as well. That was genuinely why I initially grew a beard. That laziness. Now it's just kind of stuck. It's part of who I am now. This beard is my personality. Keep it nice and soft. Right there. Same time, we don't want to paint over all of our nice work, really. So hopefully you can see a. Oh, yeah, a lot of folks came beardos during lockdown, didn't they? I was like this before lockdown. But you're right. I think a lot of people, when the old morning routine went to the wall, you just get to a point where you're like, well, what's the point? I don't need to. If I'm not going into meetings and everything like that, then I might as well just skip out on having to. I like that phrase, beardos. Does that mean that me and Doug are the beardo weirdos of Play Weird? It's nice and soft. Soft. I've actually got a friend who he I'm not joking when I say this. When he's painting, he makes different sounds, and he insists that it does help him with whatever he's painting. You know, so if he's painting fire, he'll make like noises like that. I don't know. Maybe it's like the painting equivalent of like method act or something. You know, sort of Stanislavski type stuff. But I don't do it with everything the way he does. But like I'm doing just now. So softly, softly. I think it is helpful. It immerses you in the notion of whatever it is you're trying to paint. If that makes sense. It's a bit like when you're a little kid and you pick up a guy like a little toy soldier. He's got a sword, and you start doing and you do all the noises. He does all that business, and his painting is insanely good. So either it's an elaborate wind-up or he is onto something. He's just trying to see how many idiots he can get making little sound effects while they're painting. Maybe that's the plan. I'm starting to lose the point on this brush, I think. I can see a face there. I can see it. See? So you see if you can paint faces well on your miniatures? I'm not kidding. If you can paint a face well, all this business, certainly for the tabletop, people won't even notice. Got another friend who insists that good painting is all about bases and faces. So make of that what you will. Maybe next crew you're working on might be an interesting little experiment for some of you guys, as to rather than worrying about the stuff that goes on in between so much, is sorry, simply weird to comment. I'll finish what I'm saying now. I'll address that. But I've completely lost my train of thought. When I paint faces, they look well. I mean, I'm sure that's not true of every face you paint. The second of all, there's a lot of stuff in Malifaux that is probably begging for death. So, yeah, maybe you're on the right track. Yeah. Or certainly like true death or a release. Because I'm thinking there's a lot of stuff that is dead. It still has a face, still walking about. be cool as things start to. Oh, that I like that. That arm's looking good. I don't know if you can't really see it. I will get pictures up for you guys this week. I mean, it might not be Asami, but I'll get some stuff up. I mean, something that we can all look forward to as the world begins to open up again is the potential for painting workshops. And that's something. I mean, who knows? Like maybe in the future, some of you guys listening in, you could be in a room with some of the folks on this stream, learning how to do some of the stuff they're showing you in person. Because, I mean, as great as YouTube tutorials, and I think she's got a little hair or something stuck in her hand. Get out of here. Come on. As much as there's a lot of great resources on the likes of like YouTube and Patreon, etc., there is no substitute for having someone in person physically showing you how they do something and directing you and helping you with course correction there and then. There just isn't. So even if you're not, getting paid to paint, or you're not chasing a trophy or anything like that, I honestly cannot recommend getting in-person tuition enough. Even if it's just from the perspective of getting a little bit more out of your hobby. And I mean, there's chances are, if you have a look, that there's probably someone fairly close to you who could teach you a thing or two. There's a lot of great painters out there. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, and then I'm going to do a little bit of pale flesh, just unmixed. And I'm just going to just really sharpen her up. And then what I'll do is neaten up the area around her. And then we can do her eyes. So, as with any highlighting, what you want to do is reduce your coverage as you go. And then what will happen is you'll get a nice gradient of all those component colors, those different colors that you've used. And the result should be that you end up with quite realistic looking skin. Because if you look carefully enough, and just, I'm not encouraging you to go and stare at random people here, so don't do that. But if you look even at your own skin, let's look at a finger. Skin is not one color all the way through. So like in this finger, you got like pink bits here. Then you've got like lighter pink. You've even got some little bits like around the joints here, they're almost kind of yellow. And there's even bits, you could almost say they're like a really pale brown. Oh. And all skin's like that. There's lots of different colours through it. And even under certain light, a little bit of blue-green there, where you can see blood vessels. Even like, look at that. You tighten the knuckles, it goes paler. So if you're painting knuckles, it's a good idea to pick them out with a lighter colour, like that. See that? Studying skin. And it's a good time to make the point that another phrase, well-worn phrase I'm fond of is good fiction is always grounded in reality. So even though we got this crazy Malifaux universe that all of our miniatures inhabit, it's still, when it comes to not just painting, but even like rules and things like that, there are laws that are adhered to, right? And so it means like even if you're painting something like a gremlin, you know, they've still got blood inside them. They've got organs. They have skin, albeit it's that kind of green color, but it's still skin. It's still going to have nuance. It's not going to be flat green all the way over. You know, you might have, you know, like the knuckle thing again. So you would have like a paler green, or you could even go into like a sort of, you could mix in a little bit of pink if you're going into the knuckles. So you still, it's a cool way of making fantastical creatures a little bit more believable or a little more interesting, is to ground them in reality. There are a lot of miniatures designers and artists, they still study the rules of anatomy when it comes to things that they paint. So if you consider something like the Malosaurus Rex, right? So what generally happens, according to rules of anatomy, is on bigger creatures, the eyes generally do not get much bigger. So if you were painting something that was the size of, say, like a gecko, it would have proportionately quite big eyes. But then you get up to something like a Malosaurus Rex, its eyes are fairly small. For all they're still big, they still register. They're not, if we blew up a gecko, if we, to the size of a Malosaurus Rex, it wouldn't still have like gigantic eyes like that. Everything would change. It's quite an interesting thing about like insects and bugs. You know, like you get those films where there's like giant spiders attacking the city or something crazy like that. Is that if so we're talking nonsense here for a minute, so do bear with me. But if a spider was the kind of size that you see those bugs in those movies, then its legs would have to look completely different. Because the reason that insect legs work as they are is because of the overall mass of those creatures. They would need to be completely restructured if you were to have like a gigantic spider. You couldn't just go, here's a giant spider. It would just collapse under its. It wouldn't be able to hold its own weight. There you are. Bit of nonsense zoology lesson. There's a little bit on our jawline. I think I want to try and smooth it. There we go. Let's give her a darker lip. Again, just going to do the palm one. Be a bit too stark, so there we go. That's a bit better. Well, hopefully you can see that they're got a nice bit of. Let's put her hairline back in and see how she's looking. Big improvement, I think, from isn't she? I started earlier. Hello, stream. Might end up having this many since I really want the Dreamer. Yeah. So it's Asami Tanaka, which is this lady, the Dreamer. And I got his magical essence. I want to do them separate because I'm probably gonna do different colors here, like a lilac here, and then probably like blue and white striped pajamas or something like that. But I don't know. These have a kind of Asian flavor to them as well, so maybe something different. I don't know. It's definitely like a theme of the box, right? And then Lady Yumi is almost done. Just a bit of tidying up to do here and there. Yeah, they were. They're honestly not crews that I was like. I really like the Explorer Society and the Guild stuff, but I mean they really are stunning. There's still got the incredible base to do for Sammy, so I think she's going to look pretty spectacular when she's done. It's an incredible concept. And like you guys are saying, like I had no intention of like this was just going to be like a sort of hobby project for me. I was very kindly sent it by folks at Wyrd to paint as a preview. But then now that I've got them, I've been looking at look, what are my options? I could build this, could build that, couldn't I? So Such is the life of. Yeah, that's how. Don't I know it? That's it. We didn't choose the minigame life. The minigame life chose us. And chose our wallets. No, I like to think that we're a little more special than that. I like to tell myself I'm a little more special than that. Let's see what a difference just putting that eye in makes. No, that's very kind of you. Yeah. I just I like to talk a lot of rubbish while I'm painting. So think nothing of it. Can hear my 2-year-old laughing like a maniac. Hopefully that does not mean I have a big mess to clean up when I get out of this stream. Just a little bit. Okay, I think that's looking cool. So let's dry out our hair and see what we're doing next. I think if I could get like her head done today, that would be cool. Just gonna go back. Oh, thanks, Seabass. I mean, that's just my initial sketch. I'm going to do a little bit more work on it. Won't be today though. More than likely I'm going to do the freehand on Wednesday, I think. Because I think the key is going to be to try make sure that it's not distracting. Because there's quite a lot going on in this model. You know, obviously I'm just painting the miniature herself just now, but she's got quite an elaborate base here, you see. Yeah, hopefully I don't make a catastrophic mess of it. That would be nice. So, yeah, actually, Wojciech popped in last week and said the same thing. I don't know how you would paint that without doing a sub-assembly. There's just you're just gonna have a bad time trying to paint around all of that because I've attached her to a little counter there, so you can't really see it. But right in here, you see that little notch. So her foot sits in there. So she's not actually attached fully to this vapor, I guess. So you've got all this empty space around it where you're not going to actually get access to the model. So, you know, it's always good to have a think about whether or not you need to do something in sub-assemblies, but it's good if you can to keep your sub-assemblies to a minimum. Because if you do too many, then it's going to be difficult for you to keep everything together. It can end up starting to look a bit disjointed in places, if that makes sense. I actually think my wife would really like 10 Thunders, so maybe this could be the start of her crew. Right, we were using Scale 75's Violet for the tentacles, so let's get that back in there. Go. And what we're going to do with the tentacle bit at the back here is we're going to go dark to light. And what that's going to help do is pull the viewer's focus back down towards her face. Enjoy your meeting, Seabass. Cheers. Thanks for popping in. So if we go light to dark, no, dark to light, that's going to help pull focus back down. If we were to go and have the lighter part up at the top, then you're potentially going to have a situation where the viewer's eyes are bouncing between her face and then it's a bit up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that to help pull the focus of the viewer where we want it to go. So what I'll probably do is I'll mix a bit of Tesla blue in with the violet, because we used Tesla blue on the body of the gown. Then we'll darken that down. A bit too dark. Maybe. No, I'll be fine. Okay, then what we're going to do is that up here. I can put a little bit into those deeper shadows there, but increase that one to the tips, like so. You see how that's already starting to alter the appearance quite a bit. It's a fantastic color palette that the artist picked for this model. I really like it. Yeah, those tentacles really bring out her eyes. No, what a cutie. Another potential for the Wyrd pin-up calendar I've proposed. Still waiting to hear back about my idea from the powers that be. And then what we'll do is right at the top, let's make that a little bit denser. We were talking before we came on the air with me and Play Weird about because we're into spooky season now, doing more sort of Halloweeny stuff. But like, really, when you think about it, pretty much everything weird. Well, that is gross. Pretty much everything weird could be like Halloween adjacent when you think about it. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Oh, she's gross, but awesome. Grossum? Grossum? She got a raw deal. Oh, okay. So what's the I don't actually know Asami Tanaka's backstory. What's her deal? What's her dealio? Using dryad bark. It's a nice neutral brown for the hairpins. Still put a bit of a highlight on it like that. Looks kind of weird and flat if you don't do that. So. There you go. Okay, now we need to get some more tentacular colors into that. So I think do a little bit of Vallejo's Warlord Purple, which is I think pretty much the same thing as Citadel Screamer Pink. If you don't have this. Just gonna mix that with the violet. Give us a bit more colour in there. Oh, you like? Yeah, it's really good. It's like I think it's basically a really vibrant magenta, but it's a good one. I don't know what it'd be like for you guys. I don't know what the Vallejo prices are like in the States. I know Sebastian uses a lot of Vallejo stuff, but they're really not that expensive in this neck of the woods. Some of the more affordable miniatures paints. Then just a little bit of violet this time. Hello, Brush Warrior. How's your good self? You've been busy painting a lot of weird things. Very nice. We are painting Asami Tanaka from the Realm Beyond box. It is. Oh, they're all down. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we're more or less following the artwork on the card with a little bit of artistic license. Oh, I know. I quite like painting stuff that's a bit grimier now and then, but yeah, I just don't feel like it would be appropriate for this kind of model, you know? Given it's all about dreamscapes, it's all quite trippy and vibrant. It's got that kind of Lovecraftian color out of space feel to it, you know? A bit more up here. Oh, thank you. So I think I'm going to go to another good color, squid pink. I'm going to mix that in just a bit with the colors I used. I'm going to use this for the gums. I actually started watching Squid Game with my wife. No, I don't think it was last night. Yeah, we did start watching it. So does that mean this miniature's topical then? I've not had a chance to. I think we only watched the first episode, so I've yet to be properly traumatized from what I hear about it. So okay, let's get the. I think maybe a little bit shade some of that again. A little bit darker. I don't think we want that to be. Just going to shade some of this in again here. There we go. And we'll do the teeth. It's quite interesting the way that's positioned, because you've got the teeth coming up there. It almost makes it look a little bit like a tiara. Beautiful. Well, hopefully when I put this colour in, you'll be able to see the teeth. You should stand out against it. There. I have yet to play the game, but I plan to start playing eventually. At the moment, I am just a hobbyist. Do you play? I'm very new to the wonderful world of Wyrd, so I am still learning a lot of stuff. But everyone has been lovely so far, been very welcoming. See, the teeth, they look a little bit like a crown, don't they? It's cool. Yeah, I've been listening to some of the. I haven't listened to them in a while, right enough, but I have been listening to some of the Breachside broadcasts. I have found them quite useful. Just even from the perspective of just like trying to wrap your head around the world. So I don't think I'm going to add any pink or purple to the model, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the smoke purple, or at least the kind of lilac-y colour. And what I'm hoping that will do is it will have the effect of framing the model alongside this, so that all of that focus is going to be right here. At least that's the plan. Just trying to neaten the teeth up a little before I move on. There's a little tiny teeth right down here. Make sure we get them. Let's highlight those. A bit of Mojave white. It's like a very off-white. Mix in a bit of the previous colour to that first of all. I'm just going to use the positioning of my highlights to sharpen those teeth up. Like so. And then we go to pure Mojave white. And reduce the coverage and deposit more pigment near the top if we can. That's gonna make them look nice and sharp. And we'll do a bit of white sands, which is a bit brighter than the Mojave white. And that's just going to be right up here. Tips. Car. That might be my 2-year-old that you're hearing screaming. He's running about the house just now, so apologies for that. Oh, you love Mojave white. Stuck in light brown, it can seem a bit bright. I think we're okay there. I think it's going to look a bit like yellowed teeth there. I know what you mean, though. It can seem a bit bright at times, but I think it's fine there. And as someone that has been in the Mojave, I can tell you that it is a very good name for it because it's a colour that is abundant in the Mojave. So my uncle used to live in South Lake Tahoe. So I first went there when I was 8, and we drove down from Lake Tahoe and then to Nevada, down into Vegas, and then we went down to Los Angeles, California. So it's pretty spectacular part of the world. The desert, that is. When you're way out in the middle of the desert at the night, the sky is like, even though it was years ago, I still remember it. It's just incredible because there's not a lot of light pollution out there. So I think I'm actually going to use just a little bit of white sands on her face just to brighten it up a little. Just glazing it on where I want the highlights to fall. It's just going to help to pull focus back there. I think even just as simple as that makes a big difference, as you can hopefully see. Just going to highlight some of the Incidentally, that uncle that I mentioned earlier, he actually lives and works in Las Vegas now, so he is in the Mojave proper. That's where he lives. Thank you. That's just the initial sketch for the freehand. I'm going to go back and work it in a bit more. I was just kind of roughing out where I wanted the flowers and such to sit. So just a little highlight. And that pustule. What we want to call it. And just a little bit of squid pink. to finish it up. So it's not too distracting, but it's there, it's highlighted. Let's do her hair. Oh, excuse me. I'm blocked here. Where's my little pin? There it is. I've asked my sister to keep aside some pins for me that she's not using anymore. She runs her own little craft business, so she goes through a lot of them, and they're just great for unblocking dropper bottles, but also for gap filling. Oops. Okay. Don't need to be too neat with this first highlight. Just trying to get some depth, some color in there. Both Lady Yume and Asami Tanaka have got excellent hairstyles, I have to say. You can do some really interesting stuff with them. Oops. Going a bit over here. So let's get rid of that. For a quick. Should be able to get rid of that. Geez, so I'm making a bigger mess of it. Just rub that off. neaten that up a little bit later if we need to. Yeah. If you make a mistake, just don't panic. Just a little bit there. Let's get that out of here. Okay, let's try and get this here done before we finish. That would be pretty good if we could hit that. So, anthracite grey. Mix that in with a little bit of the abyssal blue. And then what we're doing is we're going to retrace our steps. This time reducing the coverage so that we still get a good amount of the abyssal blue coming through. It's just that oh, thank you. We're getting there. Obviously the gown is going to need a lot more work to bring it in line with the quality of the rest of the model, but we're getting there. We're getting there. It's a good start. I'm feeling positive. If you go a bit heavy on any of your highlights, you can just glaze some of them back out, so don't panic. Everything can be fixed. Just sometimes it's a bit more of a journey than others, so we're off to a good start here though. The more I look at her hair, the more I really like it. Great style. So now we go pure anthracite grey. And this is where it's going to get a little bit trickier because we have to reduce that coverage again. And we're not going to go over everything this time. We're just going to pay attention to the areas where more light falls. So instead of going all over this back bit here, we maybe just do a couple of strands. Because we're doing a highlight, we don't want to make her look grey. Which if we if we don't get the balance right, we could end up doing. Again, so I break that highlight off halfway through there. Just a bit there. Bit there. Some highlights in here. Some down here. You can do a little one there. Maybe one there. And then we're going to want to do one right in the corner here, but then it's going to smaller down there. And then we're just going to do right along the edge here. Like that. And then finish it off with a little bit of Arctic blue. And this is going to be tiny, tiny. So we're right up here. And here. And one in there. Do a couple in here. One right at the back. And just a little bit down the front here. Not a lot. A little bit there. A little bit there. One in there. And in there. Boom, 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 boom. I'm rushing a little bit because we're almost out of time, but there. Okay, so I mean, I might have some more adjustments when I go back and do some more highlighting, but that's us pretty much finished Asami Tanaka's head in one session. So still do a little more. There's always more you can do, but finished is better than perfect. So, but she is looking pretty cool, if I say so myself. I'll go back and tidy up a little bit, but like I say, we're out of time for today. I think we're out of time. Or is that us for today? Play Wyrd. Have I got my times wrong, or are we? We have about 15 left. Oh, there we go. Cool. So we can do more. So I rushed all that for nothing. So let me go and just do a little bit more highlighting on the hair then. In there, I think we can have a little bit more in the middle here. A little bit more like that. And her hair's looking all beautiful and glossy. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just go back and sort out the back of her hair a little bit more. There. I think actually this bit's bothering me a little. It doesn't look quite right. See this strand here? Let's make that look a bit better. There we go. That's framing her face nicely. Let me tidy up that bit where I messed her face up a little. It's looking better. There's a bit at the back of the hair where I could see. Neaten this up a bit. Here. There. That's great. Let's make our kimono look a bit better then. I'll mix the Cantabric blue and Tesla blue. Because that's looking a bit patchy. That could be a lot better, I think. Tidy that up a bit. That's looking a lot better, I think. Still going to shade some of this back down, I reckon. Okay. Give that a little blast with the hairdryer. Okay. I think some pretty solid work we got done there today. There's still a lot to do on our gown, but the head and the face is looking great. I think that is just about all that we have time for today. So I will get some. Like I said, I'm not as manic with my commission work this week, so I've got plenty of time to get some nice pictures up on the socials and in a Wyrd place and any other places where you could expect to see cool pictures of Wyrd miniatures. And Play Wyrd has dropped the links for all my socials there. Digital presence, I like that. It makes me sound kind of zeitgeisty, like I know what I'm doing, like some kind of mysterious entity. But if you've watched these, you'll know that I'm not that mysterious. So, all right. Make sure you pop by later on. Doug, aka Guslado, will be doing a bit of painting later today. I'm not sure what he's working on, but it will probably be something cool because he was spending money like a man with no arms at Gen Con and has lots of cool stuff. So pop by and see him later. I will be back on Wednesday at the same time, and we will probably be carrying on with Asami Tanaka. So make sure to swing by then. All right, guys. I'll see you on the other side. Take care. Bye for now.